Hey, practice members. I hope you're doing well today. So this is actually New Year's Day that I'm recording this. So Happy New Year 2026. And I hope you're having a relaxing period right now between just going from a year 9 to a year 1. So we are going to talk about the forecast for January 2026. All right. And I'm recording this a little early because I'm heading on a cruise tomorrow. So I wanted to make sure I didn't miss the messages, which you already got a couple days ago, and the forecast while I was gone. And I will be back for the reset. So that will be in real time for the reset on this coming Monday. All right. So first I wanted to just show you guys a few stickers that I got from Faye, who is the astrologer for our channel, for our community. And Faye, these are unbelievable. I can't believe you found these. She said she was in a really cool store and she happened to go to the back, and she said it was like walking into like this weird, just because she found these, just sort of it was a strange moment for her. But look at you guys, how freaking cute. My sister would love this because she loves rainbows, shitting rainbows. So for 2026, we are going to be shitting rainbows, okay? It's so funny because I don't know what to do with these stickers because I don't want to ruin them, but you also want to have them on something. And here's the other one. Oh my gosh, let that shit go. Which, what's so funny about the sloth is one of my great nieces, her favorite thing is sloths. So everything sloths. She was born with the sloth, one of those sloth, little blanky things with the sloth, and it's been sloths ever since. So, let that shit go. Thank you, Faye. Yeah, so what do you guys do with stickers like these? I mean, I could put them on my journal for the year, but then they're only good for a year. What do I do with them? I want to do something fun with them. I guess you could put them on water bottles, but I have like this cover. And this is a glass water bottle, so I don't know. Tell me what you guys would do with them. Oh, maybe I could put them on the cover of my markers. That would be a good idea. I could put them there, because then I know people put them on their computers, but I'm not into that. So that would be cute. Maybe I'll put them on because I'll always be using those markers, so. Anyway, are you guys ready for the January forecast? I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be going on, so. All right, just a reminder, what I do is I take the pendulum and oracle messages that we already got for January. I store them. I ask ChatGPT to store them for me so that we can use them all year if we need to. Okay, where will they pop up? It's unclear because what I do is ask Mabel, ChatGPT, to bring in the pendulum and oracle messages when it matches the astrology, all right, the energy of what's going on the planet, basically. And just to give us kind of a deeper picture, and so we can continue using the messages from the Lead Team Collective in a deeper way, basically. So she's looking at the astrology, the natal charts of our community. We have the exact day and time our community was born. The world natal chart, the U.S. natal chart, the Heritage Foundation natal chart, because they are, they're making an impact right now, obviously, on energy. And so I do have that wrapped into this. If that starts to get uninteresting for you guys, you can let me know. We don't need to talk about them. And then just what to expect in January, each of the days. And since I'm no longer doing the forecast for now, I'm just trying to, the forecast each week, I'm trying to pull it back just a little bit so people don't feel overwhelmed. I will continue to post. I'll put some posts out throughout the month that remind you what's coming up based on this astrology report. All right. So that you can get these little reminders if you get notified when I put a post out. Okay, and last thing I'm going to mention, where is my journal? As always, I know, like, you feel a little pressure, some of you feel pressure journaling and stuff. Don't. Do not. But, again, just listening is fine. And you could take one little note. I keep saying this right now, one little note on a sticky note for January. One thing that comes out of this forecast, and maybe one message, an oracle message. If you're just listening and you want to just one thing, put on a sticky note, put it on your mirror. That's enough to focus on for 1 month. Anything that resonated with you the most, let's say. All right. And just a reminder, when you have time, the foundation, which I call the foundation, it's the 2026 energy report, so the forecast, and the messages from Spirit, okay, are all in what's called the foundation, all right? And that was posted yesterday when I'm recording this. It was posted on New Year's Eve. So then you have the whole year. Whenever anybody comes into the Spirit Circle, that's a good place to start, because those messages would be pertinent for the entire year. What I did, there's also a clearing for 2026. If you just want to sit for the clearing right now, if that's all you have energy for, that's perfect. I actually took the clearing message and I put that in this is my request. This is the only page I haven't colored in my bubbles yet. I spent some time yesterday just kind of thinking, because it was New Year's Eve, so I spent some time coloring in my bubbles. In fact, my sister and I were on the phone and I was coloring when we were on the phone. But in the request area for 2026, okay, so foundation, I have it as page 9 and 10. I actually put the clarity, so I read, if you haven't seen the clearing yet for the foundation, there's a paragraph that I read that had to do with the energy for the year and the pendulum. Okay, so wrapped everything into it. So it's kind of a big clearing, so I wanted to be really specific. So I put this paragraph, this AI developed for me based on the pendulum messages and the forecast for 2026, and put the wording together for me. Anyways, I put this paragraph in the clearing description for you. Okay, I actually put this as my request for 2026, my whole letter to my spirit guides. So, and the last thing I wanted to say is I want you to notice something for those of you who are feeling a little pressure to keep up with this. I want you to notice that December 3rd, the request for me is blank, and it's going to remain blank. I might draw a picture in there or something. And the request for December 4th is blank. Okay, or the 4th week of December. So it's okay. It's totally okay to miss stuff. They're just blank pages now. It's totally all right. So give yourself permission for that. So now I have my January forecast ready to be filled out. This is my January messages. And I just did, these are the messages across here, and I just filled in a few things I wanted to remember about those. Okay. All right. So without further ado, since we're already 8 minutes in, okay, let's see. Let's turn my fan off. All right. January 2026 opens a brand new cycle, but but not with fireworks or urgency. Love that. After the deep clearing of 2025's 9-year, this month asks something quieter and more intentional. The astrology, collective mood, and pendulum messages all agree on one thing. This is a reset month, not a launch month. So even though this is like new beginnings, this is the new beginning of the new beginning. So you don't need to be like, oh, I have to launch right now. Whatever it is you want to change or whatever it is you want to start, right? So this is a reset month, not a launch month. Spirit isn't asking for big decisions yet. It's asking you to pause, reorient, and choose differently before moving forward. This forecast is your map for how to enter the new world or the new year without repeating the old one. All right, we're going to look at global first, United States, and then we'll come down to the personal. All right. So what's happening globally in January, according to the astrology and the natal charts? January continues the global restructuring that began in 2024, 2025, but the tone might shift. Instead of exposure and breakdown, the energy moves towards redirection. So that'll be interesting. So think of this month, you could put down redirection, and maybe that's for you too. You know, I like the words so far: pause, reorient, reset. I like those words. You know, frankly, you could put those words on a sticky note. Those could be just the word you could add. You could literally just do like 5 words on these pages. I like doing different stuff. You'll notice I did circles one day with the foundation. I'm not sure I like the circles. I'm having a hard time reading them. You know, my eye doesn't quite follow along with the circles, so I don't know if I'll do that again. But, you know, like some days I just take bigger notes. So you could just do, like, if you don't have a lot of time, you just go reset. You know, you could just do like random words around here, something super simple. And I'll do that certain months too. So, but I do like the energy move towards redirection. Pluto in Aquarius keeps pressure on systems. So just keep that in mind. I mean, Pluto in Aquarius is giving opportunities for the world and us individually, but us collectively, to look at our systems. What is not working? And changing systems takes a while, doesn't it? Uranus in Taurus continues shaking financial and material stability. All right, so whatever that means. I mean, we kind of know what that means, but however that plays out. Saturn and Neptune in Pisces slow everything down and ask for emotional and spiritual responsibility. So that's good. I think if we're going to have shaky financial and material stability, at least it's going to slow it down, is how I read that. And if our systems are under pressure, it is good to slow things down. I don't think it is good to just be like, crash and burn and try to rebuild, because people get hurt in crash and burn scenarios. We can make changes without hurting people, but the same is true in our own lives. We can make changes without hurting ourselves. It's just slowing it down. So at least Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, it appears to be giving us that opportunity to not feel rushed, you know? So I like that. How this may feel globally in January: confusion mixed with clarity. Okay, kind of feels like the whole last year. A sense that the old way won't work anymore. Okay, I didn't feel that in the beginning of 2025, but I definitely started feeling that maybe halfway through. People questioning their direction is what might be happening collectively. Institutions appearing unstable or erratic. So they might not be slowing down. They may be panicking because old systems are breaking down, you know. The spiritual meaning for this is the first month of the new cycle, and the world hasn't found its footing yet, right? Either have we individually. The pendulum message, one of the pendulum messages, actually 2 of them fit here, all right, for the world energy. Move slowly was one of the January pendulum messages, and widen your scope was the other one. Fits this global reset perfectly, okay? The United States chart, January activates unstable areas of the U.S. chart tied to leadership, messaging, and public trust. The energy feels reactive, scattered, and emotionally charged. Now, if you go back to the foundation, if you haven't had a chance to listen to the foundation, one of the messages for the messages of 2026 for the whole year, one of them was January will be tough. or rough or something. I'll have to look. And it's interesting because they were doing a reading for the entire year, but they chose to pick out January. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. Maybe that's a better reason for us to slow ourselves down so that we don't feel as scattered as everybody else does, right? We don't need to feed into that collective, scattered, reactive, emotionally charged if we're aware of that. So if you start feeling it, like you might wake up one morning for no reason, you haven't looked at the news, whatever might cause you stress, like nothing came into your existence. And it could be a dream though, you never know like what happened in your dream state. But if you start to feel something, it could, just keep in mind, it could be the collective being reactive, scattered, and emotionally charged. And then you could just take a deep breath. One of the messages for January is go inside from the lead team. Okay. So that's a good reminder to go inside. That's the only reason we're doing all of this, is not the only reason, but to help us remember who we really are when the collective and stuff's going on in our own lives, or people around us are feeling reactive, scattered, and emotionally charged. It can help us go, stay more spiritually centered, which the earth needs us to do right now. Spirit needs us to do that. It's kind of our job right now. All right. So because the other people who are not aware of that, I think a lot of adults, there are a lot of mentally stable adults as well, even though we only tend to see in the news or whatever the mentally unstable adults, or you see it on social media or whatever. But it does take a practice of reminding yourself when to be balanced, because otherwise it is reactive, right? Stuff comes at you, and if we're not thinking ahead of time like we are doing right now, then you just forget because there's so much going on. Okay. How this might show up is heightened political tension. Okay. Erratic behavior from leadership figures. I don't mind that. It needs to keep getting heightened, to be honest. If this criminal activity, cut, clear, cancel, or allegedly entertainment purposes only, is going to come to an end, right? And not only, maybe if you believe the Trump administration's doing that, but whether it's our banking systems, all the people in power. However, not everybody in power is criminal, but how people in power, the people who might be blackmailing, doing all these kind of things to other people to keep them silent. Those are the kind of things that need to break down, right? And we have to let that happen. But while it's happening, it feels very scattered, So erratic behavior from leadership figures, confusing or contradictory messaging. Like I did see Trump say in a quick interview, somebody had posted it on YouTube, where he was asked about the economy and he said, A plus, 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 plus. Like, okay, he can say that, but give me proof, So confusing and contradictory messaging, public fatigue and emotional overload. What this means spiritually, the U.S. chart reflects nervous system overload, not clarity. One of my words of the year, I added to it, my word is nervous system. I really want to continue protecting my nervous system, so I don't have any more room for my words of the year. My last one is less is more. So I have enough, routine, balance, nervous system, and less is more, conscious consuming under that area. So conscious consuming. All right. Pendulum alignment. Just manage yourself was a message we got from Spirit, from the lead team in December. That continues to apply this month. Just manage yourself. And January adds go inside, like we said. This is not a month to absorb national chaos. That's what the energy is saying. This is not a month for each of us individually to absorb national chaos. So that might be a nice thing to write down. Don't absorb national chaos. And if you don't want to say, maybe you don't even want to, it might just be a little reminder for you how to flip that around to make it positive. If you guys could offer that in the comments, how do you flip that around so that you don't even have to say the word national chaos? Because we don't want to focus on what we don't want to generate, right? Okay, so the Heritage Foundation chart, what's happening? The Heritage Foundation chart remains under pressure, but January intensifies it. Influence looks unstable, messaging feels extreme, control attempts feel frantic. Sounds good to me. It may appear sharper rhetoric, unpredictable decisions, public backlash, visible strain within institutions. Spiritual meaning, when a new cycle begins, systems built on fear often react the loudest, which is amazing. I don't know how anybody in today's day and age, I mean, I guess it's how people are raised. I don't know, but I just don't. I mean, I think collectively we're getting smarter to say building things on fear has never worked. It always collapses at some point. So you would think over time, but I think people want that immediate kind of power, the immediate power plays, which can work on fear, but it always collapses over time. You would think they'd get smarter about that. Okay, pendulum alignment. Trump is batshit crazy, which is one of the pendulum messages for January. It just cracks me up. Is not emotional commentary. It reflects erratic, unregulated behavior surfacing under pressure. So if you see his erratic behavior, actually be thankful for it, because that means he's under pressure, and that's good. I'm fine with that. The paired oracle message, open up, reminds us not to harden in the response to his pressure. Okay? If he's ethical, if he's doing things morally, if he is honest, then I hope he is not under pressure. If he is not, if he's the opposite of those things, then I do hope he's under pressure. So I don't know. I'm not in a room with him. We only know what people speculate on or what I see with my own eyes sometimes. I can see it. But if I'm not, I'm going to leave it up to the universe because, love always wins, right? I'm going to leave it up to the universe to take care of that. If he is being honest, so I'm not going to wish anything upon him at this point. If he is being honest, moral, cares about people, like legit, he's not stealing money from the citizens of the United States and other countries probably. He's not getting involved in things that we wouldn't support, even his followers wouldn't support. Then I don't wish him to be under pressure. So we'll let the energy take care of it. All right, Ask the Spirit Guides community chart. January activates identity and direction points in our community chart. All right. Members may feel uncertain about next steps. That's actually, if you're feeling that, that's why we're taking a pause this month. This is a reset month. If you're not certain about next steps, then that's why you just pause. It's totally okay to pause. We're just at the very beginning of a 1 year. We don't need to rush in. There's no rushing. I don't rush anymore. There's just no rushing. We're tired from the emotional work of 2025, which is exactly why we need to reset, right? Anybody here tired of the emotional work from 2025? Anybody? Anybody else? Pulled inward rather than outward, and less interested in fixing and more interested in peace. That's what our chart is bringing to us. All right, I love that. Less interested in fixing. We don't need to fix. We don't need to fix. Okay, you don't need to fix outside of yourself, and you don't need to fix inside of yourself either. Let things be for a while. Let things rest. Especially if you're uncertain of your next steps. It's okay. How this shows up, questioning commitments, wanting fewer obligations, needing rest instead of motivation, redefining what success means. Absolutely. Pendulum alignment. One of the messages was why not walk away? And about face. Reflect this exact moment of reconsideration. So why not walk away is a question. Doesn't mean they're telling you to walk away. It's something they want you to think about for January. And about face. Turn the other way. Go the other way. Very consistent messages, right? So questioning commitments. They align with the energy, basically, of the astrology for the month. Questioning commitments, wanting fewer obligations, walk away from some. Why not walk away from some? Is what Spirit's encouraging us to do. Do an about face on some of the obligations in your life. Needing rest instead of motivation, and redefining what success means. So you could say, like, why not walk away from your old definitions of success and do an about face on it, right? So there's just all these different ways you can look at that. All right, the month's astrology. So what we can kind of expect this month. All right, early January. So right now when you're listening to this, it is coming out a little later in January just because December 31st fell on the last Wednesday. Last Wednesday it fell. Actually, this is the day after, but that's usually I put out something on Monday, Wednesday. So this one's coming out a little later. So early January, the first third of the month is about getting your bearings. All right. So have you been feeling that already? Pushing forward too fast leads to burnout or regret. So again, pendulum messages, move slowly, go inside. All right. Just a reminder. Those are perfect for this period right now. Mid-January, and this is what I will put a reminder out on a post for you. Your perspective might shift. You may realize something you were pushing towards no longer fits. You might be redefining your success. You might decide, I don't want those obligations. Okay. This is not failure, it's course correction. So give yourself allowance to do that, to change your mind. It is fine. In fact, that was one of the cards we got. That was one of the cards. I don't know if that was the foundation or for January, but it was like, it's okay to change your mind, which is like my favorite. I think it was January. I think it was an oracle message for January. Let me look real quick. I'm pretty sure it was. If I can find the page, here we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, it was this week. I know that, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Late January, quiet clarity. By the end of the month, things feel calmer, not solved, but clearer. You may not have answers yet, but you know what no longer belongs. That's cool. So clearing space. Actually, that was one of the foundations for December 2020, or for the entire year, is making space. Space is more important than feeling confined, right? So widen your scope. Late January, the pendulum messages that match, widen your scope. You might feel that, like your scope is widening. And cracked open was one of the cards we got as alchemy, not collapse. Okay, so cracking open, new ideas are starting to form. Okay, so let's see. So what to focus on for January? Do not rush decisions in January. Let your nervous system settle first. Walk away from what drains you without guilt. Wish someone would have told me that a lot earlier in life. That guilt can eat you up, right? Reduce outside noise and opinions. Remember, there's going to be some more scattered energy going on in the collective. So reduce the outside noise and opinions so that you can feel what's going on in your own heart. Trust that clarity grows in quiet. So reminding us to go inside. Allow redirection without self-judgment. And remember, this is a 1-year beginning, but beginnings start with orientation, not action. I love that. Beginnings start with orientation. So we can, this is a 1-year beginning. This is a 1 year going through, now we're going through a whole 9-year process again. So you could take this entire 6 months, or you can take this entire year to figure out what the new beginnings are. So use this year as orientation. I really like that thought process. That makes a lot of sense to me. So the bridge from November to December 2025, December cleared the path. Do you feel that? Did it feel that way for you, that December clears the path for you? Did you feel that you were able to start leaving some of the things behind? January teaches you how not to build it the same way. So we're in orientation phase again. Orientation teaches you something new, helps you get some new ideas, but we don't want to rebuild things the same way. You are not behind, you are recalibrating. So that's why, even like I said, take the next 6 months, take the full 1 year. Number 1 year, take the full year to orientate yourself if you need to. All right. Okay. Well, this is exciting. I love the energy for January. I'm not disappointed by that. So let us know in the comments so that we can share with each other what of this energy feels right to you. What are you going to carry? What's the most important message for January 2026 for you in your life, and why, if you want to share that. It's so nice to see. What's really helpful to read everybody's comments is there's validation, right? That you're not the only one. And especially that video I did on everybody's comments from the public channel of what you're leaving behind. I did a video, I don't know if you guys caught that, but I did a video on what everybody's leaving behind. And it's just so validating because to see, I actually took 1,000 comments and had Mabel consolidate them for me into common themes. And there was like 100 comments on anger, leaving behind anger, 100 comments on leaving behind self-doubt, 100 it was amazing. It's just so validating to know you are not the only one feeling the things that you're feeling, because the astrology is giving all of us. None of us get to run away from that. Plus, we all have our own charts too, right? So how it shows up in our lives is probably quite different. But it's just, I don't know. I find reading your comments very validating and just getting new ideas. So share, if you're willing, how or what you're thinking about this month, because it gives people new ideas also that they might carry on in their own lives. So please don't ever discount that what you offer in the comments is not helpful, because it is. It's extremely helpful. And if you ever need some, let's just say you're going through the month and the month gets hard, something gets really hard, you can always come back to the comments in the message or the forecast comments to see what is everybody else, or even then in the resets each week, what are people dealing with this week? And, okay, I'm not the only one, or just to get some encouragement. So, all right, you guys, I will see you. Right now I'm on a cruise. When you listen to this, I think I will be in St. Thomas today. The day you get this, I think that Wednesday, I will be in St. Thomas. So, yeah, so think of me. I'll be enjoying warm weather, hopefully. All right, you guys, I will see you on Monday. All right, take care. Bye-bye.